Hi and welcome back to Cheeky Crypto. My name is Nick and today guys we're jumping down into the charts for Bitcoin, taking a look at what's been going on most recently and what I would expect to happen next. Now as I get into this video, if you find it useful and informative, hit the like button. I really do appreciate that. If you happen to be new to the channel, why not consider subscribing? Tap the bell, select all notifications, and in doing so you will be kept up to date with absolutely everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. Now if you have not yet joined us in Discord, the link is in the description down below. It's a fantastic community talking crypto 24/7. It's completely free and I don't think you'll be disappointed by what you find down there, so why not go ahead and check that out today. And you'll also find links to our Patreon services down below. Basically we offer things like buying, selling, staking alerts. So these are movements that Chris and myself are making in the space, through to a little bit of trading ideas, project reviews, AMAs, and a whole host of additional benefits. If that sounds like something you're interested in, why not check out the Patreon link down below. And the last thing that's in the description that's might be worth just paying attention to is the new Cheeky podcast, a fantastic way of staying up to date with everything crypto on your commute to the office. Why not check that one out? Okay, let's waste no more time though. Let's jump right down into this. Here we have Bitcoin paired up with USDT on the hourly chart, and Binance is the data source. Now, I accidentally yesterday deleted the entire data that I had on here, so I've tried to recreate a little bit of it, but we have lost a lot of the old history that I had here on Bitcoin. It's not too much of an issue, but you know, if I do try to go back and things are slightly different prices or whatever, it's mainly just because I had to recreate the analysis. But if we take a look at this, we can kind of see that we were heading on up towards 21,197 here. And pretty much as per yesterday's video, and just looking for that kind of slight move up higher. Now we kind of hit a high point here. We kind of just fell down, if I say slightly, into this little kind of area here. Now, what we're going to do is we're actually going to spend just a little bit of time to take a look at the stochastic RSI and the regular RSI, okay? Because at the moment we can see that the stochastic, which is more sensitive to price movements, is actually, you know, heading down to oversold on this hourly chart. Now when we take a look at the 4 hourly, we're overbought. On the 8 hourly, we're overbought, but we've got a little bit more room to grow here. I wouldn't say that we're all the way into the overbought area on the 8 hour chart just yet. The daily is almost back up in the overbought area as well. So essentially, you know, there should be some kind of drop to the downside to be had here, maybe a small push up higher towards our $21,197 target, at least according to our stochastic RSI. Now when I take this one off and throw the regular RSI on, you can see that we're relatively high here on this area. Now obviously we have to think about this slightly differently from you know, what is overbought and oversold. Okay, so basically here we are looking at something that's going to be over 80 as being overbought, and essentially we are very, very close to this, but you know, we've got a little bit more room to kind of go, so I wouldn't be overly too concerned just yet with this one. But essentially, yeah, we're getting very, very close to it. It's actually this line here, so you can kind of see this upper band area here. Okay, so yeah, we've got a little bit more room to grow on the regular RSI, but this is more slow moving and is not as sensitive to price movements as a stochastic RSI. The main reason for taking a look at this is you can kind of see there's no kind of divergences really that you can kind of see here. You know, we are, you know, potentially pushing down and we're just kind of floating around a little bit, but on the macro side, pushing up as the stochastic goes up, as the relative strength index goes up. On the 4 hourly, here you can see that we've moved up a bit, and our purple line is of course moving up. The yellow is just a smoothed average. So again, you know, nothing really to note here. Last time we were at this level, we were around about here, and obviously we moved on up, but totally different wave counts from an Elliott wave theory perspective. On the 8 hour, we're about midway through, so nothing too glamorous there, and likewise the daily has some room to grow. So again, nothing to really notice other than the fact that we are of course, you know, lowering our our relative strength index here over time, and essentially that is trending down. So if I grab hold of a trend line, you can kind of see that over time, all we're doing here is actually lowering that stochastic, you know, whilst we lower the price down. Again, nothing here, it's just unusual or, you know, out of the ordinary from that kind of perspective. So from a relative strength index, nothing really too much to know. You know, I tend to like to use this one when we're in a more of a kind of bullish kind of scenario to help us gauge things in terms of trend movements. This to me isn't really giving us too much information at this point in time. So as I go ahead and just remove the relative strength index, we will throw the volume in here, and it's worth kind of just noting where these volumes are. They are incredibly low. Obviously we have to kind of, you know, remove this little area here because it's you know, skewed data, but For the most part, if I go out into a 4-hourly chart here for a second and just bring this back down, we've got a pretty decent kind of collapse to the downside. We've got a 5-wave move, a 3-wave move, a 5-wave move. I would be expecting another 5-wave move down as expected. We're kind of starting this, in my opinion. So we are looking just to finish this off coming down towards kind of $14,000 to $15,000. That still is the case. That hasn't changed. Even though we are setting these higher lows and these higher highs, this is kind of more bear flag territory. So what I'll do is I'll temporarily delete all this again and I'll show you what I mean. So if I grab hold of a parallel channel, we'll just snap this to the bottom over here, and we'll just snap it to this one here. Okay, so we end up with this kind of parallel channel, and essentially what this is a series of higher lows, and a series of higher highs, but under like very little volume. Okay, with the exception of this little move at the top here, which actually, as we had that, we still fell down afterwards, right? So it isn't like there's any significant volume here going through for Bitcoin. And essentially what you've had is what is basically a bit of a bear flag, right? We have the pole coming on down, and then we have the flag section just here, and then we break down from it. Okay, so whether you are really following Elliott wave theory or whether you are following many of these other indicators, they're all kind of really telling us the same kind of thing. Essentially, we are looking for some downward price action. Okay, so I'm going to remove the stochastic RSI there, and we'll zoom back in. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to now just take a look at our wave counts, okay? Because we've got 5 waves coming down here, okay? We then have our 3 waves coming on up, and I would expect 5 waves to come on down, okay? So if we were to draw these on, just from this 21,159, we'd have some kind of 5-wave drop just taking us down or lower. Now, the thing with this is it should be hitting a 1.618 in my opinion. So if I go ahead and grab hold of this up to here, and I say in my opinion, this is a rule within wave 3 Elliott wave theory for these impulsive structures. However, there are some articles out there that say you don't have to have the 1.618, but I've always known in Elliott wave theory to say that you must be 1.618. But we're splitting hairs. Sometimes you might find yourself with a 5-wave count at 1.382, and it might just be actually a WXYXZ corrective move rather than. But anyway, nonetheless, I would always be looking for 1.618. So this would be basically $15,983, right? So basically that move from our upper end to our lower end. So based on landing here, if we go up higher, of course, it will raise our 1.618 target to the downside. Okay, so we don't necessarily guarantee that we're going to be hitting $21,197. It might be higher, it might be shorter, and there's no guarantee that we have a 1.618 move. It could just be a 1-to-1 ratio and actually becomes a zigzag pattern. However, from an Elliott wave theory perspective, and I'll draw this up here, okay, when we have a structure that starts with 5 waves, okay, so we have 5 waves that come on down like so, this base being this area just here, okay, when we have this, it is followed by 3 waves counter to its direction, and then on the bare minimum would be another 5-wave move, okay? And this second 5-wave move would be the same distance, the same measurement as this 5-wave move. So for example, I would go ahead and I'd take this low point, I'd take this high point, I'd go move it over to here, and I've overextended this one, so I'll just bring it back up a little bit. Our 1-to-1 ratio would be here on this one level, right? Meaning that this is basically what is called an ABC, corrective pattern, okay? And it would basically just be an A wave that has 5 waves inside it, a B wave that has 3 waves inside it, and a C wave that has 5 waves inside it, okay? So that's an ABC. That's the minimum expectation over here, right? So we have 5 waves coming down, 3 waves going up. The minimum expectation is that we come down to the 1-to-1 ratio, okay? However, if this goes down past 1.618, okay, so it gets overextended and goes past this 1.618 area, the next expectation would be a 3-wave move upwards, followed by another 5-wave move downwards, okay? And for clarity, if I put this here, okay, this 3-wave bounce should not cross over our first 5-wave move. And essentially what this is a macro 5-wave move. So you go wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, wave 4, wave 5. Yeah, and that is kind of what I'm expecting to happen here. Okay, this is the structure that I'm expecting to see, and the reason for this is it goes back a little bit further than we were previously. If we think about the history of Bitcoin here, let me just jump up into a 4-hour. Actually, no, I can do it on here. So we have this 5-wave drop. Okay, we had a 3-wave move up, and then we've got this 5-wave sub count, up 3, down 5, up 3, down 5. That would be a 5-3-5-3-5. Which is basically a 5-wave move. Now we've got a 5-wave move here, we've got a 1 5-wave move here, and we're looking for the next 5-wave move down. That would basically make us have a 5-3-5-3-5, of which is a 5-wave move. We've had 4 out of those 5 waves, okay? Meaning that we've got to have another 5-wave move going down. We're in, so if we were to think about this, if we're inside this final 5th wave, okay, just here, we're inside the final 5th wave. Okay, so I'll circle that. And we are tracking a 5-3-5-3-5. I would say that we are currently in our little wave 2 of this. Okay, meaning that we have still got these 5-3-5 structures still to go. Okay, so lots of room to the downside to be had here, not much room to the upside in my opinion. Obviously we take a look at all of the stochastic RSI and everything else, and it's pretty bearish. There's not a lot of bullish kind of sentiment there, and I know everyone looks at this as higher lows and higher highs. All those are really false flags in my opinion. We've got a long way to go before we can actually say that we've reversed this market, and I think it's going to come to a shock to many people when we actually do come down into new lower lows past our $17,622. So, I want to be kind of objective about this. Like, I want to make sure that when we do start to really, start talking about, the bottom being in and things like that, we want to see the data that backs that up. We don't want to just be kind of sat here using loose terminology like Adam and Eve, which it clearly wasn't an Adam and Eve. That's a double bottom pattern that doesn't exist here in this chart. Or, cup and handles, and all these kind of loose patterns that just don't actually have a high success rate. We've got head and shoulders. Yeah, I can see that. So, you could argue that actually all you're doing right now is coming up into your right shoulder, and then you're going to break down hard from there. I did that in yesterday's video. I showed you that. So if I bring this over, I'm going to take this current low because that's an interesting point. So come up here to our shoulder, come down here, come up here, come down. I have to draw that. I didn't put it in a straight line. Let me put that in a straight line. That would actually be better. So if I grab hold of this low point just up here, pull this down to here, go up into our head here, bring this down to here, come up into our right shoulder, bring this back down. So you have a head and shoulder pattern, okay, on our hourly, 4-hourly, however you want to look at it. So slight push up towards our $21,000, maybe a little bit higher, 21,800 maybe, but it shouldn't really go higher than the head. And then obviously come back down, test the neckline, break down from the neckline, and then basically go down into new lower lows, right? So whether you believe in Elliott wave theory, whether you believe in multiple patterns, and all these kind of things, it's entirely up to you. Essentially for me though, I'm looking at the structure, and it should be a minimum of another 5-wave move down, and that would probably not go down into new lower lows. And obviously at that point, if we're only on a 1-to-1 ratio and we've completed a micro 5th wave, then I'm pretty confident that we've gone, we're only going to have a correction here, and we haven't finished this subset of section going upwards. Okay, and we can of course just have lots of corrective moves going sideways. That's possible, but I do think the most probable move is that we end up dropping down towards $15,000 for Bitcoin. So essentially that's kind of where my mind is at. We can of course take a look at all these other ones. I think it's a little too soon really, but if I throw the Gaussian channel on here, go into our weekly, we've spoken about this time and time again, but essentially we are tracking an interesting kind of level on the Gaussian channel. Historically this has all been pretty good, so our lows are incredibly close. If we haven't already had the low, it's basically like maybe 1 week away in theory. Like it should be done very, very soon. But history is here to not necessarily always repeat itself. Like it repeats itself until it doesn't. So essentially it's a loose kind of way of looking at it. We do, of course, have the monthly, and we have the EMAs. Let me just hide those. And, you know, the 10 and the 20 EMAs are interesting, but again, the history is loose because we've only got two data sets in 2 data points in the past. So if we are getting the cross now indicating that the last month, what low at 17,622 was the low point for the bear market, you know, then, you know, we're basically saying that the 2 previous times this happened, and this is now the 3rd time it's happened, that's good data, but essentially it's not a lot. I would like to see that happen, you know, a good 10 to 20 times to be, you know, really confident in saying when this happens, then do expect this to happen afterwards. But I don't think we've got enough data for that. So just kind of keep these things in mind, that essentially everything is moving along quite nicely, but I am still expecting a move to the downside. I don't FOMO in anywhere. And there's some good opportunities. We did some trading yesterday that was, you know, really good, taking advantage of those swings in the market. But essentially, you know, for the most part, you know, we are trending down. I don't think we finished with that just yet, and therefore we should be cautious. Just a gentle reminder, guys, I'm not a financial advisor. I cannot offer you financial advice. All I can do is give you my thoughts and opinions on the data in the charts as I see it. You absolutely should not buy or sell or trade on anything I say or do in these videos. You absolutely must do your own research, consult your own financial advisor if you have one, and you know, not invest more than you can afford to lose and all that kind of good stuff. So guys, I'm going to leave the video there. If you have found this useful and informative, hit the like button. I really do appreciate that. If you happen to be new to the channel, then why not go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell, select all notifications, and in doing so, you will be kept up to date with absolutely everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. With all that said, done and out of the way, I hope everyone has a fantastic day, and I'll catch you all in the next one.